from the Abuja Network Studio, we'll definitely be looking at the issue of price control that is generating a whole lot of reactions with so many people determining what they decide at what trade they want to sell their product, and it's becoming a worrisome issue that a lot of people feel government should step in and to see how they can really be able to bring the price down to a barest minimum. But in the recent statement made by the president, the media chart right there, he insisted on not enforcing a price control mechanism, saying the forces of demand and supply will determine that. And joining me this morning, the former presidential candidate, and talking about Chief Peter Ame, they really take a look at the decision of the president not to put in place a price mechanism that can check this. A wonderful morning to you.
Good morning to you, my brother.
So, we have to take you away from your busy schedule and also put into consideration the festive season. Thank you so much for linking up with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's take a look at what is really happening. Trying to get something right now is becoming quite challenging. You get the same product at a particular place for this price. You go to another place, you get another price. Everybody seems to just be coming up with whatever price they want. And the president has come up with a categorical statement saying he's not going to implement a price control mechanism. What is your take on this?
I think for our struggling economy, and because there's no balance to how forces of production work in this country, it's very funny because a person bringing cassava from probably Adamawa to Abuja, we also go through some issues like the checkpoint that they meet on the road, how much the soldiers, the police on the road are collecting as bribe, which they push through cost that is added. So there's no balance. If that person spent 300,000 in bribing a way through all the checkpoint to Abuja, and somebody else was able to use another language to bribe 200,000, you can't expect them to sell at the same price. I don't think price control is a problem. It's the inability of government to create a stabilizing environment for businesses to survive, for businesses to be, to blossom and then make more production that will meet the yearnings of the people. That's where the problem lies, because the responsibility of government is to create an enabling environment where you have, free movement of goods and services without hindrances, without illegal blocks, without, bribing their way at even each of the checkpoint. This adds to the cost of the goods. And a lot of other activities. If you talk about, there are a lot of prices that have unity price, pricing across Nigeria. When you talk about those other things that are, produced by multinational cooperative, big corporations. Yeah. They have unity price. You buy them at the same price at every shelf that you go to in the supermarket. But so that stable food and all that, you can't have price control because the government has not been able to establish proper mechanized system or proper management system where these goods can be harvested in bulk and then put into the market to also crash the market. We have a huge arable land for farming, and the government had promised when it came in that it was going to deal over 2 million hectares of land, yearly, about 500,000 hectares of land yearly, so that by that time we'll have a lot of food, that will come in, and the price naturally will be determined by, demand and supply, and because the more the demand, the better opportunity that the people have.
You just mentioned logistic challenges. When somebody moves something from Adamawa down to Abuja, the challenges he faces to get it down there. And that's the reason why probably in the 60s and 70s, we have commodity boards that ensure that government can take the bulk of this responsibility to cushion the effect on the producers and be able to now stabilize the price. Down the years, so many military government came on board and put an end to those commodity boards. But right now we are having a situation that necessitated government setting up those commodity boards. Now we are facing it again in Nigeria. The challenges of the logistics is on the high side, especially putting into consideration the cost of transportation. Do you think it's high time for government to now have a second thinking that let's have commodity boards back?
For Nigeria, we run a mixed economy, both socialism and capitalism mixed together. And if we say, we want to take over this food and commodity board, and then Nigerian government pays subsidy for food and all that, and by pushing them, by taking the extra cost as a burden on government. There's not every government in the world, even in Sweden, where you have such social, mixed economy arrangement. Government must be able to do some level of support to a citizen, because that's how a system works. Commodity board is not something that I'm against in totality, but I like government to build infrastructure. I saw what Lagos government is doing. They're building very big storage system where they can have, instead of the food wasting in the Dumota market, 12 market, all those tomatoes that goes to waste, we can restore them, and then have opportunity to resell them, which also help in reducing the price. The state governors must also wake up with the opportunity they have. The majority of the land is invested in the authority of state governors. They must also look at the area of comparative advantage. We should now have like a major cooperation between states, to be able to help this process. What is Benue State with its proximity to Kogi State and Nasarawa? What are they doing jointly to be able to harness the potentials of the farming community within their state, so that they will be able to help gain bring IGR to their community, raise more financing for the development of the state, and then also help to crash the cost of price of food. So we must be, thinking towards revolutionizing the process by just going to the, they already abolished commodity board and then trying to bring it up, and also kind of bureaucracy that will be created around that will be so difficult. So we need to have a system where we put in investment into farming, agriculture. Let me tell you, if we start to cultivate agriculture and make it a priority today, like other countries have done, look at what Malaysia has done with their palm oil seedlings that borrowed from us. Look at what Singapore is doing. Look at the people are based in technology. They are making a lot of money. If we now decide that, because we have vast arable land, and these arable lands are very good, for farming, why not let's just put money and concentrate and take ourselves from this monoproduct attention on crude oil, so that we can generate more resources, from this other sector. You see that the price of food will crash, because there will be food coming from all sectors. Look at the land that Niger State has. Nothing is happening. It's a wasteland. There are no population. There are no farming. There's no farming. There's no population. People are not occupying the land. So, and the land is there. So what are you saying? So the problem is that we need to find an alternative route by becoming productive, by going into agriculture in full time and making sure these foods are available on the table of every Nigerian. It will be cheap. It's because we are not farming. We are looking at people who are into subsistence farming. We are looking for surviving farming. People who look for food, farming to feed on their family, and then brings 5 baskets to the market, and then the man just deposes 5 baskets with how much they are selling chicken today. Chicken is about 40,000. That's how much they are selling goat about 10 years ago. The old goat. It's about 40,000 today. So you now look at people are buying goat at 150,000 naira. So the man look at this thing and say, my family too need protein. I have what to take. You have tomatoes. You have to give me money that will almost be equivalent so that I can get protein for my family. So you can't have an economy that is not run basically with principles of development, principles that entails that government invest money properly in carrying the right priorities in mind by saying, why are we spending money on buying 150 billion naira private jet? Why are we building Lagos and renovating Vice President House to something billion naira? Why are we buying kitchen utensils every year in out? Ministries and parastatals, they are buying cups, they are buying glasses, over a repetitive item on the budget.
And there are no items that could just spoil you.
Why are we buying vehicles every year? Vehicles unexpired. People have vehicles that stay 10 years. In fact, if you buy a brand new vehicle, you're expected to use it for 15, 20 years. So, and these are high-end vehicles. So why are this budget being repeated on the document? So we need to get our priorities right. It is not about the people. It is not about the cost of food. It's that the government itself does not have a priority to be able to make sure that he invests properly the money that is our taxpayers' money that we have generated through resources that we are all, equal stakeholder in, shareholder in the resources. Government takes it, literally take it up, put up fire and light it up on fire. So that is the problem we're having. Government is not putting his hand where his mouth is. So government is spending extravagantly, running costs that drive up the cost of governance on a daily basis, and bring up expanding ministries and not looking at the recent report on how to cut costs and then reduce over cost of running these practices and agencies as recommended by a recent report over 200-something billion naira. So we cannot continue doing the same thing while we end up running a cycle and expect things to change. So it is not about commodity board. It is about the fact that we have arable land, we have a farming population, we have energetic youth energetic youth who have nowhere to put their energy. Because when you say you want to put youth to farm, it's not only that they will go and till. Some of them will drive the tractors if you have investment in it. Some of them will drive the mowers. Some of them will be able to be in the storage center. Some of them will be able to be in the recording data system center. So this is how you diversify an economy. This is how you create wealth. And this is how you reduce the cost of food.
You just added an example talking about Lagos State. What Lagos State is doing, setting up places where they can be able to sell some of these products. And also we've seen instances where Lagos State government have set up markets at a particular price where people can walk in and buy products at a particular price. It's scattered in different parts of Lagos State. But the question, you talked about the role government also, the state governors do have to play in the scheme of things. The governors we have scattered across Nigeria, are they doing it? Because every time we talk about the Lagos State governor, what happens to the other state? You just mentioned Nigeria State right now. Why are we not having thinking governors? We are also thinking about, instead of waiting on the crumbs that falls from the federal government every month, than coming up with something that can really boost. Why are we having governors who are not proactive, who are not thinking to see how do we bring the cost of inflation down? How do we ensure that our people, because an average Nigerian just want food, house, and also something, water to drink. Why is it difficult for them to be able to make this happen?
The basic request of the average Nigerian is not difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like those in the UK who tell you that they have this. Nigerian man sees light for 5 hours. You go to church and thank God and say, yes, they gave us 5 hours instead of 3 hours they're giving us. Nigerians easily get satisfied and they easily get adjust. They adjust to pain and bad governance so easily. It's the only way I've seen in the world. The more it gets bad, the more they adjust. They are not willing to do anything. So it is easier to govern such a people. But it's just that these people who are governing do not have sympathetic heart. They are not thinking. They are selfish. They are self-centered. They are only interested in themselves. We have a feeder pillar approach to governance. A feeder pillar in the sense that there's a federation account fact that sits up there that the governors are waiting for. It's 26 to 27 to by 29 we should share the money. They run to Abuja, stay in the hotel, incur expenses for their state, get the money, go back to state. 2 billion for salary, 3 billion for this, the remaining 5 billion. What do we do? They give the contract to themselves, to their wife and their children. Before in the 80s and First and Second Republic, a young man can come from a village, have an idea, go to a ministry, apply for contract and get it. It's not possible this time because the governors are determined to continue to keep resources with the wealth within their own family and friends. So it's no longer an open process. So governors are like we are running a feeder pillar economic system where governors are not doing anything. What they do is to go to a feeding bottle arrangement, like they're feeding a baby with a feeding bottle. They just rush, take that money, go to state, spend it, get broke, wait for another money to come. So we need to have a system that is that productive. We can't continue with this federalism that are weakening our state, that have made our state lazy. Look at Kogi, for instance. Kogi is one of the states that has huge resources. Yeah, enormous resources. Complex state. If you are looking for water body, we have it. If you are looking for land, it is there. The entire Kogi state size will fit. The southeast will fit into Kogi state, close to 30,000 square kilometers of land. So you can't have a situation where you have the state governors that all you do and people praise them for in the state is that they are paying salary. The basics. Elementary level of governance. That even if you carry a primary 6 years old man, young boy, to sit in governance and say pay salary, he will pay salary. It's not a big deal.
There's no rocket science.
No, it's not. It embarrasses me when I see people say, "Oh, he's paying salary. He paid 3 months salary." What do you mean by salary? The money just came. You didn't even do anything. The money is coming from Niger Delta or somewhere, and it gets to you where you are sitting in your state, and you are comfortable to. We should be ashamed in this country. Those who come to government to say they are paying salary should be embarrassed that they are not adding any value to it. Look at the data provided by Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, that 2.2 trillion was paid for kidnapping. Over 2 million Nigerians were kidnapped during those periods of time. Wow. So you can't have a situation, how do you boost that farming system? People can't go to farm. There's no safety for their lives. There's no security for their family. People are killed in their farms. People are kidnapped in their farm.
And if the governor gets security votes every month.
Even their security votes is useless. What they do with the security vote is to oppress the state security agencies, like all the police commissioner. You have to work for me. You have to be, if not, I won't buy you vehicle. Because the state commissioner of police don't have anything. If a man retires state commissioner of police today, his basic go home pay will be like 75,000 naira or so. Wow. So how do you say the man is not going to do that? So the governors are really using it as an oppressive tool. There's no DPO in this country today that is connected to an internet or a computer. No divisional police station.
Yeah.
That's connected to
I totally agree with you.
There's none.
I see some in my area.
And they don't even have vehicles. They don't get basic monthly. Let me tell you, say there's a police station today in every community that you say you have a data at the IGP office that they will get 200,000 every month. All of them. None of them get that. There's no such data. There's no such data. So how do you expect security to even improve? I've never seen this kind of system in my lifetime. So these people go back to their state. The DPO will depend on the local government chairman. Local government chairman depends on the governor. The governor is the alpha and omega of the state. It does whatever it wants. So the security is not improving. So, and this also affects the cost of food. There are a lot of multi-dimensional reasons why our cost of food is just so high, and the food inflation in places like Kogi and Co. We're high. Go and check the MBS statistics. Where food inflation in these places should be the lowest compared to people going to Lagos.
Even in Marabari, where I'm staying, you can imagine the cost of food. But that brings us to a major issue that is also worrisome for me. We talked about federalism, giving the power to the state to be able to do so many things. And also this current administration has been able to, let states also be empowered to be able to do something there. But unfortunately, it's not really working there. The president talked about boosting level of insecurity and also not probing the service chiefs, that he wants to build confidence in them, and there's no point in that when probing the service chiefs. But they want to build security. They want to be able to, because we talked about being able to make food available. Security is paramount. So many people can't go to farm. We know what's happening in Benue and why so many people can't go to farm. And that's one of the major things. Is the government architectural plan on boosting, on improving on security really working at this point in time?
If the government see it as being that is harassing security, head of security agencies by not interrogating their agencies for failure to protect the citizens of this republic, the government is not serious. Because the fundamental reason why government was created in the first place was for the collective pursuit to secure the lives and property of the citizens. That's number one principle of governance, the number one responsibility of government. So if life and property are not secured, when people are dying, people are being kidnapped, you see poor people selling their houses in their villages, selling their children properties to be able to pay ransom to get their parents out of kidnap them. And you're saying you can't probe them because you feel that if you are not probing them, they'll be loyal to you. Who talks about you? You're already being protected by the state apparatus, our resources, our money. You have all your convoy is over 50 vehicles long. The place you are staying is like you are living in heaven on earth, fortified with all kind of security gadgets. If that had made you lost touch with the reality what people are facing, then there's a problem, because the government must set up panels to be able to investigate the poor security problem that we have. Because people can't travel freely and they get them blocked on the road. I have a friend who was traveling for Christmas, about 4 of them. Somebody just wind down the glass and the face cap dropped. Just to park to pick it up, there was gone. The people were shooting. The kidnapping attempt was already done. They escaped. But is this the kind of life that will encourage people to come to invest in our country? To come to be part of a process? We should have been the destination for the African nation, for the black race. Today you see people move more to Ghana for holidays. South Africa has better of this opportunity than us. It is time to rewrite our story. And for us to do that, government must be very, very attentive and be proactive to the processes that leads to establishing a system that is secure and that is responsible to the collective yearning of our people. And government can only achieve that if government reduce politics and play more on the principle of governance, like probing, inviting the security agency to give weekly reports, to give data by data analysis of report of those who they've heard have been kidnapped, and get data from each DPO and give each DPO the necessary resources they need to be able to run their divisional police centers. So it's not rocket science to solve the security issue, but just I don't see commitment for those who already have so much protection, for themselves. I don't see commitment for them to want to achieve that. Because for us to achieve this food security, for us to already reduce cost in food, stable food in the market, for us to achieve all this, first of all, we must get our security. I grew up with my grandmother. I used to go to, I was in primary 3, I would go to farm alone. You could know what age stays in primary 3.5. The farm, I mean, you enter the thick forest of our community in Ogugu.
Yeah.
I will enter that thick forest, you know, and I'll come back. Sometimes my grandmother will look for me down if I don't come back early, and I stayed in that forest. Nothing happened. Nobody will allow his child to do that today.
Okay.
In fact, in those villages, now people do cluster farming. You know, they were doing it before, but it's now for security reasons.
Yeah.
So that 50 people can be in one place.
Yeah.
So that they can farm and then, you know, try to protect themselves. So is this what will bring food sufficiency and food security and reduce the cost of food? No. We must have where people become, because they are ungoverned spaces.
Yes.
Because of the level of security personnel that we have. Half of it are with how they call it, senior men in this country who have hijacked state apparatus.
Yeah.
The rest can't cover the country.
Okay, interesting right there. Talking about, we've been talking with a former presidential deputy of CUPP, talking about Chief Peter May on the issue of price control and a whole lot. I must say a big thank you to you for joining us this morning and be part of the discourse. Hopefully we'll continue to create an enabling environment where so many people can return back to farm and be able to do the needful right there. That's how it is up right there from the Abuja Network Studio.